Hello, this is your girl Ashley Camille here at Fifth House Bloom. This message is for the mutable signs. Mutable signs for the week of May 20th through May 26th. Okay. This is general guidance, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. At this time, I'd like to welcome forth the power and the presence of the elevated guides who can assist me in delivering this message for the mutable signs. I ask that you open up our ears so that we hear the truth of liberation. I ask that you open up our minds so that we may bloom. I ask that you open up our hearts so that we may embrace our divinity. I ask for assistance in delivering this message with clarity, empathy, and ease. I give thanks. So, your cards are out. Let's see, what's the message for the week? I'm using a different deck. So bear with me because the format is a little different. Let me see if is there any direction on the way? This is our theme. Okay. Which one? Ooh. Yes, we about to get into it, y'all. Okay. We have Cycle of Mystery, Secret, No as our cycle overarching theme. All right. Which way? Don't hold me up now. Okay, we have what would I do if I knew I could not fail? How do I embrace the unknown in our challenge position? And for for opportunity, we have how do I revel in pleasure? I said we're about to get into it because before I pull for each modality, I do an overall pull for the collective because even if we are dealing with different issues or things are showing up differently for us, ultimately, you know, we are on a similar journey. I channel messages for you to to rediscover, to reconnect with your most authentic self, with your freest self. So the collective, watch all the videos. Anywho, like I said, I channel for the collective beforehand. I never showed that video, but the cards were pleasure, right? Divine Goddess and Joy Goddess. And so right now, really, you are at this stage of wanting and being called and being pushed to incorporate more pleasure into your life. With pleasure, or specifically for you, the energy of or the lesson that you are to be working on is receptiveness. It is receiving. It is your ability to accept and embrace, right? And to create a container and to be a vessel for pleasure. When I say pleasure, yes, I mean sexual, but I mean in addition to, right? I mean pleasure as your ability to delight in your desires, your ability to be present in what feels good, your ability to embrace in abundance, right? Pleasure is about surrendering to what things feel good to us. Again, not just sexual or in a sensory way, the pleasure of a healthy relationship, the pleasure of a fulfilling life, and understanding that you deserve those things and that they are available to you, right? And so your opportunity here is to linger in pleasure, to revel in pleasure, right? It is to be present in that. It feels like, let me check. Yes, okay. There has been a restriction in the past. You know, this is general guidance, and again, it is for the collective. So that could be for several different things, right? Part of it is a level of deservingness of, do I get to have these things? Do I get to experience these things? right? Especially as you are pursuing them, especially if it's coming like easy, if it's being handed to you in a sense. Is it too good to be true? But a big piece of it is wounding, or what we've been taught about our deservedness, right? Especially with your work being on receptiveness, that you have to work for it. Specifically with you is in this position of kind of like overgiving maybe, or trying to like stack the odds in your favor, right? So it's like, I won't be able to have this. I can't engage in pleasure unless I, right? Versus seeing it as your birthright, seeing it something that you just get to have, as something that you deserve, as something that you are entitled to. It is also like, you know, martyrdom, right? Ooh, okay, y'all. Here come a read. And in these instances, especially like with habits of like people pleasing or martyrdom, you know, with the hope or the expectation that it be returned to you, if that makes sense, right? Which is a form of disempowerment. This pleasure is something for you to give to yourself, to create for yourself, to provide for yourself. You aren't putting it, you aren't externalizing it and taking on these steps and these actions so that you earn it, right? You simply are experiencing it. You are creating it. You are moving in that direction. Pleasure is your guide. What feels good? What feels great? Where is my yes? And you are not only seeking that in all areas of your life. Okay, something's coming in about overindulgence. I hold it. Let's go. Yeah, we lost it. But yes, you are making yourself, you are responsible for it. And it is not a seeking of pleasure outside of yourself. It is an opening yourself up. It is embracing it, and it is recognizing that within yourself. Okay. With this, and increasing your capacity to continuously experience and hold pleasure, especially as your motivation. With that being said, where you want to be careful, on both ends, right? It's like the restriction and asking yourself why. A question to sit with is, why do I feel like I can't have this? Why shouldn't I have this? And get real about it, right? Take it all the way down to the root. On the other side of that is be careful of overindulgence, especially if you have not given yourself the space to, if you know, like engaging in pleasure is not your norm, allowing yourself to delight, to play, to be and embrace abundance is not the norm. Be careful for overindulgence, because when you finally let loose, you might let loose, right? Pleasure in the way that I am, you know, channeling for pleasure for your freedom, pleasure for your authenticity, pleasure for your abundance, will not put you in positions of lack. It is not going to be at a detriment. It will not distract you from what you need to do, your work in this world, right? It is fuel. It will only enliven you. It will only motivate you, right? So don't get an attitude like, yeah, fuck it, you know, I'm out here. Pay attention to what it motivates you to do, where it is coming from, and how it influences, how it causes you to act with your external environment, because your pleasure Your pleasure will not cause harm to others and yourself. Anything else? I'm supposed to read one. Okay. Can I hold it? Get the cards out? Let me get the cards out. Nope, let me read it. Okay. 2, I'm supposed to read for the cycle of mystery, secret in the known, the cycle that you all are in right now, and then how do I embrace the unknown? So let's see. Seems like there will be some pretty clear guidance. I don't know if we get into them tarot cards. All right, secret known, the cycle of mystery, when clear. So when you are showing up in, you know, how do I describe this without being all, when this is the energy, when growth energy. I like that. Okay, so when clear, I cultivate curiosity. I revel in things I cannot understand. I am able to speak or keep silent when cloudy. So I am describing this as like a stagnancy energy, something that might be a setback, kind of the example I used about using things that feel good as a distraction. That would be more like a cloudy energy. When cloudy, I may speak too much or unnecessarily assert my cleverness. I may hide my truth or keep toxic secrets. This is coming up as like defense mechanisms. This is coming up as like a disconnection. This is coming up as like that disempowerment, right? And keeping the self guarded so that you won't have to sit in the unknown and the lessons of that. Okay. And so, questions here, let me just read it in case. What are my secrets? Can I keep secrets? What do I know experience that can't be shared? What does knowing originate? Give me a second. And then the spirit, and the card is dark. This is my first time using this deck, but I can't wait to we get to know each other, because this is good. Okay, elements of power is rebirth, keyword, mystery, question. How do I embrace the unknown? The dark moon of spirit is the moon of initiation. This is a moon of deep change. Who we have been is no longer, and who we are is not yet. The moon indicates a time between. There are universal life cycle initiations, birth, menarche, marriage, childbirth, menopause, death, etc. And there are personal initiation in our individual lives brought about by loss or triumph. For you, it feels like that shift is coming by the work that you are doing with pleasure. And again, specifically with receptiveness, because that the ability to receive does not take away or take from what you are able to give. And taking that to a broader scale, that is essentially how you show up in this world. Like the way that you share your light and you share your gifts, right? Anything else? Yes? And coming into your full light out of the what? Okay, just give me a second. Because it feels like and I can't get through it, there's some blocks or a wall around like the imagery. It's not your heart, but whatever is in there is so guarded that, you know, it's not being expressed externally. And so those things that you are seeking and you are wanting are having a hard time showing up and becoming manifest. And so this is the receptiveness, starting with, starting with yourself, giving into yourself, increasing, the way that you have shown up in other places for other people and other roles, putting that energy into yourself. However, you are receiving in ways that you might not have. So starting to pay attention to where have you not allowed yourself to receive, and this can be, major, like the way that you relate and you engage in relationships where you have built up walls. This could even be like, you can't take a compliment, right? And so this week, you taking compliments, you just gonna say thank you. All right? So start with, notice where you are resistant to receiving. All right, what to expect? Are we gonna get through all of this? Let's just go. By the way, if you are watching this on TikTok, I post the videos, the whole video, not cut into parts, on YouTube. Because I'm gonna finish this reading, is essentially what I'm saying. It might be longer than usual. What to expect. Relationship. Gotcha. Thank you. This is both of them. We've got the Moon and the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, the Moon cards. We've got the Page of Cups. Let me show you the cards. The Moon. And then the Six of Pentacles. Give me a second. I'm going to take my time. The Six of Pentacles. So there might already be some things trying to reach you, someone trying to reach you, an opportunity trying to reach you. And not only is it, general guidance, because this is a little bit more specific. Not only is it that, like, you might not be seeking the opportunities, you might be shutting them down, like literally saying no because of this difficulty with receiving, potentially like, oh, can I do it? Do I get to have it? Worthiness, right? And what that is for you is trying to reach you, right? And that it feeling either too easy, too good to be true, not the right time, or not until I do this, not until I have, that degree, not until I get to a size, blah, 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 not until I have this amount of money saved in the bank. This is, oh my God, delayed gratification. It comes to me now. And here, within the mutable sign reading, it's like, for what? Really have to examine and get clear on where this belief, where this idea came from, that it has to be hard, you don't get to have it, or you have to be qualified in order to have what you want, in order to experience pleasure, right? I'm not saying that those beliefs they feel like conditioning. They feel like it came, you know, from like some inner child wounding, potentially mother wounds, looking at the way things are in society, the way you hear people talk about those who go after, have, live in what they want, those who are inspired, those who are motivated by pleasure, right? There's a lot of clutter around that is really shaping what you believe you get to have, and it's time to shed it, to let it flow away, right? Give me a second, look this page. I'm going to get more with actions when we look at the actions, but there's opportunities around you or for you to create where you get to give yourself the opportunity to build up your comfort level with this pleasure. Don't jump off the deep end. Now, if you watched my readings, I am very, very, very serious when it comes to leveling up. And I don't mean leveling up in the, you're somehow better than you were before. I mean giving yourself the time to adjust, to develop the appropriate amount of skills, to get to a place where something is sustainable and you can maintain it before you take the next step, before you try to do more, right? So that this becomes habit, so this becomes a new belief, so this becomes your lifestyle, right? And so here, when we're talking about the page, that is, you know, it's not starting from scratch, right? Because, oh, thank you. It's not starting from scratch. You've had experiences. You know what you like. You know what feels good. You know what makes your heart beat. You know what makes you sweat. You know what gets you hot and bothered, right? You are giving yourself permission to experience that a little bit more. But like I said, leveling, right? We grown. If this is a fantasy, I'm not saying just, you know, and it's completely different than the type of sex that you are having. It might be a little much. So much so that if you just go out and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, right? You get into it, it's too much for you to handle, right? Scale back. What piece of that can you play with in a way? Can you scale down in a way that feels more comfortable to you? Maybe it's simply just letting yourself have the fantasy, okay? Maybe it's doing some things while you have the fantasy, but you're acting it out just in your mind and with yourself, right? Self-pleasure. Because we grown. So I want you to think about, give yourself permission, allow yourself to remember those desires, to have those desires, and think about what small thing you can start to experiment with now, right? Going back to the cycle of mystery. You don't have, because you might discover that it is shifted, right? And it has changed. You are getting comfortable. You are getting comfortable with having desire. You're getting comfortable with letting your desires be known. Ooh, preaching tonight. What is this? King of Pentacles. Okay, I'm supposed to read what would I do if I knew I could not fail. Some additional insight, and I am feeling like that has to do with kind of like this fear, this block about allowing your desires to run wild. But let me get these other cards out. Stop. What do we stopping as we are pursuing our ability to let joy be a guide and to linger in delight and pleasure. Allow it to be our pursuit. Pause. Yellow. Let's see. Is this it? No. Which one? Three of Pentacles. Just leave it. Okay. Give me a second. Fire, fire, fire. Okay. Elemental power. Spark. Keyword, courage. Question, what would I do if I knew I could not fail? Now is not the time to play small. Advocate for yourself. Ask for what you want. Take chances. Go for broke. Put force behind your desire. This is a good moon for spell work. Dream big. Shoot for the moon. Keyword on dream, okay? Again, this is about becoming comfortable with our desires, allowing those to be the guide. First, you have to get comfortable with feeling desires. First, you have to get clear on knowing what you want and what that will feel like, what you are seeking and why, doing so from an authentic place. Okay, if you feel afraid, acknowledge the fear and let it come along for the journey, but not in the driver's seat. Let the energy of this moon move you forward and know that failure, if it happens, can be powerful fuel for its success. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay, so in the position, we have judgment in reverse, right? There might be some self-judgment come up. There might be feelings of shame potentially, or being critical of yourself, or just being uncomfortable with ideas of like, if somebody knew that you were doing this, if somebody knew that you wanted this, if someone knew this is how you would feel, right? Number one, give yourself grace, but know that like your pleasure belongs to you. This all is for you. It belongs to you. So as much as possible, know that nothing is wrong because you won't. And no matter what it is, right? Again, when when your pleasure is for your authenticity, your expansion, it is not in a position to harm others. You get to have this, so do this work without judgment, without criticism. Then it just feels like, especially with you showing up as the moon here, that this might be one of the biggest barriers to doing this work. All right, give me a second. Some support or a place that might, as we were talking about leveling and what feels comfortable, and ways to explore this pleasure. It looks like there's some support here for doing this work with the body, right? Because I said at the beginning, like, yeah, sex, and maybe I didn't say the body. However, senses, our actual physical senses, sight, taste, my favorite, touch, hearing, whatever else. I'm getting tired, so all the other ones that I missed. This is a great place to practice pleasure, because you get that direct feedback. So it could be with your physical body. That might be something like, even a massage, and really being present in that process, doing like a body scan. This could be like you with a really good meal, right? And savoring that. But essentially connecting with the body and the sensual experience to start to reconnect with desire, what feels good, and using that and applying it to all of these other situations, because this is applicable to all areas of life, right? This is just familiarizing you, reconnecting you to pleasure. We're here. Anything else? Okay. I mean, that was a lot, so I think I think there's something in this Three of Pentacles that I'm missing. I want to see what the author of this deck says in their interpretation. Because there's something else. And if I don't get it out, I ain't going to be able to sleep. There is power in teaming up, especially when each entity possesses complementing skills or offerings. Diverse streams of income, collaboration, or the influence of investors come into play. A collective is forming. These beings are learning to share tasks and resources. Seek out community to increase wealth and health for all involved. Okay. Going back to that, the opportunities being around you, leaning in to your support. This pleasure is feeling like the way that you form community and connections and doing this work together, not feeling like this has to be something that completely cuts off other people and doesn't involve connection in any way. Something about resource, shared resource. Yes, something that you could, this is investment energy. And so they might be monetary, but also just like your time, right? Like this is an investment that you are making in yourself, in your pleasure, in your joy. And not to, again, careful on like that overindulgence piece, but also that being miserly or saying that that's not worth spending money on, worth spending time on, worth the energetic investment. It absolutely is, right? So it feels like some of those the pieces and the blocks to watch for, some of the challenges that might interfere with this work, is that judgment piece and giving yourself permission and investing whatever it may be needed in order for you to do this work. Okay, if that is your reading, I return this energy to you.